Good morning, Minister Bhatti. Welcome to the Tech.eu London Summit 2024. You know, we've had such a massive week last week in AI. I know that that's why you've been here, and you've been saying that you've been having a multitude of meetings all about semiconductors, AI, all of the new innovations that are going on within the UK. If we're going to create some kind of homegrown ecosystem here, then we have a really interesting opportunity right now to pick from all of these different regulatory systems over, the world over.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know about the conversations that are happening behind the scenes in terms of thinking about how the UK's regulatory framework is going to come about in a way that's going to really foster innovation and startups. And
well, first of all, thank you for having me here. The Tech.eu Summit is obviously going to be a huge success. You're absolutely right. We've had some really good announcements. We had Wave announce their announcement about the investment they've had. I think we had almost over £2 billion come in last week alone around AI. We had Scale.ai confirm that they're going to have the European headquarters here in the UK. And these are really just testament to our framework and our approach. And you ask about the regulatory framework. We have taken a very different approach to some of our partners. So it's different to the EU. We've taken a very principles-led approach. What we are trying to do is have a pro-innovation, pro-regulatory approach where companies and industry work with our regulators to make sure where there are competitions where there is barriers to entry, they are reduced, so we get challenger tech having the opportunity to become the titans of tomorrow. And this is really important because all the feedback I'm getting from big tech, from challenger tech, from companies who are startups, they're really excited by the progress that we're making on this. And this has not happened overnight. I spoke in my speech about how we only had 10 unicorns in 2010. We've got over 150 now. And that is only set to grow because our AI approach, which has also been principles-led and it's been regulator-led, very different to what's happening in other parts of the world, has meant that companies are basing themselves here, they're able to innovate, but we're also wanting to understand what it is that in the future we may have to legislate for. So we are working closely with industry. And that means we're also being pro-safety. And as I said on stage, safety is an enabler of growth, it's an enabler of innovation, and it will attract investment. So I'm very excited by our tech economy.
Okay, let's get into that. How are those principles becoming material legislation? What are the issues that you're most concerned about, making sure that something is ready to deploy to the public before it's deployed to the public? And how are you communicating that to startups?
Well, look, this has been a journey. So, I could go back to 2014 where we've invested over £3.5 billion in AI, but I would go back to November where we had our AI Safety Summit, which was, in Bletchley. It was a huge global summit. We had 28 countries plus the EU there, and they signed the Bletchley Declaration. And with the tech companies, what was basically agreed was a voluntary regime to look at frontier models and make sure that safety is at the forefront of everything they do, because we have to develop AI in a responsible way. That regime is working really well for us at the moment. It's where the companies are working with us. We are making sure that everything is done on a voluntary basis. We're testing it and we're communicating that back. For the public, AI is all about trust and transparency. And what they need to understand is that while we're testing that, AI can be a real tool for good. So one of the examples I used was of Brainomics, which 37 NHS trusts at the moment are using this software, which is to look at stroke scans, patients who are suspected of a stroke, identify stroke, and it means that now 3 times more people are able to return to independent living than were able to do so before, because we're catching that quicker. And frankly, we're seeing that all across healthcare. We're looking at how it helps in government, how to deliver public services better. This is a boom time for AI in the United Kingdom, and we really are leading the charge.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of, it's really encouraging to hear that you are working with companies and that kind of voluntary self-regulation is working out really well. I think that's a really interesting model. What regulations are they putting in place on themselves to make sure that this is safe, and how are you monitoring?
Well, look, I think it's important to be clear. We've always said in our white paper response that at some point we will have to legislate, and you have to be able to understand what it is you're legislating for when we're talking about AI. But they're doing their checks as we understand it, and then we've got the AI Safety Institute, which we've put £100 million behind to make sure that we've got a great team of experts, people who really care about this, who are testing those models to see how they enable things like frontier risk to be much more accessible for the average individual. That's fundamentally what the testing is, and arrange a whole array of risks, and that's really, really important. But again, we shouldn't forget that AI is a tool for good as well, like any other tool in technological innovation. And what I really want to press home is that AI will transform our society, and it's going to be the defining technology of the 21st century. And I'm very confident that change, that defining of the 21st century and defining humanity will happen here in the United Kingdom.
In order to really foster that change and bring all of the good out of evolving AI ecosystems that we can, I think that people are really interested in how antitrust law is being implemented in the UK, so that we can get really, really encourage and make sure that our startups are in the strongest place that they possibly can be. What are you working on there?
So we've got a digital market competition consumer bill. And for me, this is really simple. I'm a free marketer. So for me, I want good regulation, right? We want regulation which basically puts consumers right at the heart of everything we do. And I think, well, for me, when I look at it, when I stood up at the dispatch box and we're trying to get that legislation through, we're almost there with this now. What we're seeing is it's about innovation. It's encouraging tech companies to look at how, work with the CMA, the Competition Markets Authority, to look at what, where there may be barriers to entry, where they can be reduced, where there might be monopolistic behavior, and to address that and to allow challenger tech of today to become the tech giants of tomorrow. So it's really, really exciting, and that's all. It's not just me saying it. Business knows business better, right? Government can't tell business what to do. They know what to do, and they are telling me that this is an exciting piece of legislation. So I'm really excited to get that over the line.
It does seem like the UK is evolving into a tech superpower and an AI superpower in particular, and these technologies are evolving so rapidly that public perception sometimes can't keep up. What is it that you'd like the public to know, and maybe the way that we speak about AI or technology to change?
Yeah, well, look, three things. I mean, I talked about unicorns. We've got more unicorns than France, Germany, and Sweden combined, over 150. Those are billion turnover companies. We are now the third most valuable tech economy in the world. We're worth over $1 trillion. That is a huge deal. And we've hired more people, 22.3% more people this year, in 23-24, than we did in 2019. So pre-pandemic levels, we've surpassed that. The tech economy is thriving. And the great thing about tech is, whether you're looking at AI or semiconductors, as I look at it, or quantum technologies, or engineering, biology, or future telecoms, these are the great levelers. A huge amounts. I go all over the United Kingdom. I've been to Wales. I've been to Scotland. Looking at the semiconductor clusters there. We've got robotics thriving in Bristol. We've got AI. There is so much going on. I mean, the future is here, and we are embracing it here in the United Kingdom.
Minister Bhatti, thank you very much. Welcome to the summit.
Thank you very much. Thanks.